The Cabinet considered the following issues in its meeting held today. One, spectrum pricing, that is charging of spectrum currently held by the incumbent telecom service providers. And two, charging in the event of spectrum sharing and intra-service area merger. These are the two issues that were considered. So as recommended by the empowered group of ministers, the decisions of the Cabinet are the following. Number one, no one-time charge be levied for spectrum holding up to 4.4 megahertz. So up to 4.4 megahertz, no charge. Two, for all spectrum beyond 4.4 megahertz, a one-time charge be levied prospectively upon the existing operators at the 2012 auction determined price. The date of applicability of the charge shall be the date of commencement of the first quarter following the date of the Cabinet decision. So that would be January 1, I guess, 2013. 3. For spectrum held above 6.2, a one-time charge would be levied, but this would be from July 2008 onwards. There will be two prices. The price prorated for the period July 2008 up to the date of applicability of the auction determined price would be the 2001 entry fee, duly indexed using State Bank of India prime lending rate, divided by 6.2, with effect from the commencement of the first quarter following the date of the Cabinet decision, the auction determined price would be levied. So prior to January 1, one price. Once the auction determined price is there, after January 1, the auction determined price. 4. Licensees will be given the option to surrender spectrum beyond 4.4 megahertz if they do not wish to pay this charge. Right? 5. Licensees will be allowed equated annual installments for the balance number of years of license, such that the last installment is payable not later than 12 calendar months prior to the expiry of the license. So 1 year before. Considering interest rate at 9.75% as approved by the Ministry of Finance in the case of new successful bidders for deferred payment. The licensees will also have the option to full upfront payment or prepayment or one or more installments. Okay? The Cabinet inter alia approved the following regarding sharing of spectrum and intra-service area merger. Sharing of spectrum. Without any additional one-time spectrum charge will be permitted between telecom service providers that have both paid for spectrum beyond 4.4. So if two telecom service providers are there, both have paid 4.4 and above, no charge. But both TSPs would have to pay spectrum usage charge at the slab rate applicable on the entire combined spectrum holding. So if it's 4.4 plus 4.4, it's 8.8. So the spectrum usage charge would be based on 8.8. But otherwise there'd be no charge of sharing, right? Where a transferor, that is the acquired company, holds spectrum against the entry fee paid. In other words, if company which has got 4.4, not beyond 4.4, is going to be acquired, and they got that charge, that license based on the entry fee, then in that situation, the resultant merger entity would be required to pay to the government the differential between the entry fee and the current auction determined price on a pro rata basis for the remaining period of the license. Okay? Then 3, on the issue of allotment of initial spectrum to licensees who have paid the requisite fee but have not been allotted spectrum so far, the Cabinet decided that the claim of such company for allotment of 4.4 megahertz of spectrum in such case will be considered after completion of the auction process, subject to availability of spectrum. This only relates one case, Tata's. So they will, after this process is completed, that issue will be considered. And then the above decisions are expected to result in further efficient utilization of the scarce natural resource of spectrum, facilitating proliferation of telecom services. Now, there's one issue, which is the CDMA issue. You've already explained that. On the CDMA issue, we will we'll come back to the cabinet, because there is no auction discovered price now, but that does not mean that they can get away without paying a price. So that price will have to be paid. We will determine the basis on which that price is to be paid in the interim before the auction takes place, and the auction discovered price will then be paid, and whatever payments are made in between will be adjusted towards the auction discovered price. And we'll come to the cabinet. No, we'll come to the cabinet directly on that. One second. One second. Yeah, we'll come directly. We'll make a proposal to the cabinet for the interim measure, right, as to what price is to be paid. And once that is decided, then when the auction takes place, which hopefully will be done in a month or two.
Sir,
As I said, we'll go to the cabinet.